This Spotlight is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.
Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette. Today I'm joined by three local nonprofits, the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County, A.D.O.P.T Pet Shelter, and the Indian Prairie Educational Foundation. You're watching Spotlight, and joining me now from the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County is Daniel Hebrard. It's so good to see you, Daniel.
Thanks for having me on. It's great to see you too, Jane.
Yeah, always nice, and I love how you're sporting the preserve shirt. That looks good.
Thank you. My wife picked it out this morning, said it really highlights me, so I appreciate that.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad you're highlighted, and we'll highlight the Forest Preserve too now, right?
That sounds perfect, yes.
Talk a little bit about that. Tell our viewers a little bit about the Forest Preserve District and what it's all about.
Yeah, well, you know, certainly it's important to understand who we are, and our mission is to acquire lands for the pleasure, recreation, education of our residents and to restore the flora and fauna, the plants and animals. And so we are those places that you can come out to and enjoy nature. You can come out to and enjoy a hike, use one of our shelters, one of our 7 education sites, 175 miles of trails on our 26,000 acres. So we really do have DuPage covered. And we're proud to be there for our residents.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you know, I think one of the things, I mean, obviously I think people are often surprised by how much land is there, but also now what if I don't come to any of that? How am I benefiting as a resident from having the Forest Preserve?
No, that's a great question. And we are the clean air and the clean water people. And you look at this beautiful set, and I think it's highlighted that, you know, people really like trees. And obviously we have prairies and we have wetlands, but we have a ton of forests and we have these trees and we have a lot of rivers and streams. We have 47 miles through our property, and you know, go up and down DuPage, you get the Salt Creek, you get the East Branch and the West Branch of the DuPage River, and smaller creeks and tributaries, and we work on improving those, and we make sure those are high quality. A lot of people may not know this, but we're the only place in the whole state of Illinois that propagates or grows freshwater mussels, and that cleans the waters.
Okay.
And so we have those throughout our rivers and streams here in DuPage, but we actually share those around to different counties and contract out to support that. And Jane, if you saw recently, you can actually get into the Chicago River again for the first time in, I don't know, 150 years. By the way, there's giant mussels floating in that river from our place at Blackwell, the Urban Stream Research Center.
Oh, I love that. So great partnership. And, you know, what you're doing with our Forest Preserve, you're passing that information along.
Absolutely.
And those resources. That's great because it does benefit us all when clean air, right? And clean water. That's important.
Yeah, it's critical for our, you know, community health. And so when we can do those things in partnership, as you said, throughout the county, throughout the Chicagoland region, it's a win-win. And so even if you're not necessarily going in the preserves, you're going by them, you're hopefully having less traffic because we have quite a few lands. And those are some really great benefits for all of us.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, now, and you got a little bit of national attention. You know, we all emerged from the cicada, hatching this summer. Talk a little bit about how your cicada video went viral.
Yeah, well, I love that way you phrased it. It's an emergence, and it was pretty fun to get educated on, and we tried to do something different. You know, bugs can be gross for certain people.
Yes.
And so obviously we did live action. We had the humans in the cicada outfits, and we just do videos all the time to educate people about all the natural world things going on, all the awesome work going on at the Forest Preserve, and you don't know what's going to hit. And when that hit, it was so much fun. It went all the local stations. I know NCTV covered it. And I know we got on a lot of the local papers, but then we got national coverage and CNN, and then Stephen Colbert picked it up even. And I challenged him. He still hasn't answered, but Stephen, I'm still waiting. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, those were super fun. And I think it was a very interesting, time for people because people were either completely grossed out by it or really fascinated to learn what that whole cycle is all about and why. And 17 years, it seems like a very odd alien almost like thing, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's the key right there is, you know, you're watching, you're having fun, but you're learning.
Yeah.
And we use that, you know, medium that so often is really critical. People's short attention spans,
yes.
videos, you combine those with some education and people learned about, okay, why is this happening? What's going on? And then what happens that it's going to happen again in 17 years. And so you finish that off and And I think people really, got the Kichi fun of that. And hopefully we'll have more videos go viral because we keep pumping them out. So keep watching our website and paying attention.
Okay, sounds good. Now, obviously, those were the things that were going really well. But, like any organization, you have challenges, right? Mm-hmm. So give us a little bit of an understanding of some of the challenges that you're currently facing and how you're approaching those.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a critical period for our organization. We're really catching up on some, deferred maintenance. We're going through a lot of restoration. Taking care of 26,000 acres is a big job. In the last 20 years, we've really done, I think, a good job of trying to do a lot of restoration, 8,500 acres over the last 20 years, which is a lot of areas, but it takes a lot of education. It's stark when we go in and remove the invasive species. Mm. It's a stark contrast to a river when you remove a dam and you re-meander it. And those things take a lot of education. So it's really, multi-pronged effort. Those efforts to, make sure we're doing the right thing for our flora and fauna, but then, pleasure and education for our residents. And we want to make sure, hey, we're in the end trying to make sure this is good for you, that this trail is a better view, that this, river's got higher, quality water. And so all those things kind of work hand in hand. And as you know, things go up in cost, so it's been more expensive as time goes on, but we want to continue to push forward because we've done 8 dam removals and impoundment removals. So those things are really super healthy for our rivers and streams.
Yeah, well, it's good. And you're working against a master plan, which is always good. And I think, as you rightly said, inflation has caught up. Certain things just have to take a little bit more time than maybe we would like them to, right?
Yeah, well, and it's exciting because we passed the master plan in 2019, and it was 32 projects. We really spread those out into different ways. We did some cultural projects. We did deferred maintenance like bridges and some roofs. But then we had natural resource restoration, which we had 11 of those. And then we had 15 initiatives. And those are things like improving ADA and access for all of our community, making sure that we had a green energy plan. And so it was really very comprehensive and very aggressive. And we were excited to try to take it on. I'm proud to say that we're over halfway through. It didn't get put on a shelf. It didn't get put away to get done later. We're halfway through those 32 projects and 15 initiatives. And we just want to keep pushing forward because we know that, people love coming out. We had over 6 million visits to the forest preserves during COVID, and we're still at 5.5 million. So people didn't forget about us, even though we're past the pandemic.
That's great. That's wonderful. So as we kind of just wrap up, as you look ahead, you talked about a comprehensive plan in 2019. What's your vision and big goals for the future?
Well, I think it's just critical that we finish the master plan. These weren't want projects. These were projects that we felt were important, critical needs for organization, for our community, and for the public here in DuPage County. And so really, we want to make sure that we are finishing up strong, going through, not putting it on shelf, not waiting, but finishing these projects and then being ready for those next level projects to make sure that we keep meeting the demand of our community. We're proud to be a partner in mental health. We know Nature RX is something that's just emerging, to use that term again, but with our partners in medication and partners, obviously, in mental health, we know that getting out into nature is really good for our community, so we want to keep supporting that.
Thank you, Daniel. And if you would like to learn more about the Forest Preserve, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We're coming right back with more Spotlight.
This is the When Art Flourishes, Everyone Flourishes commitment. This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
If you're just tuning in, you're watching Spotlight. I'm your host, Jane Wernette, and joining me now from the A.D.O.P.T Pet Shelter are Chris Yell and Alexa Martinovich. So nice to see you both, and please introduce your friend.
This is Winnie. She's 10 years old. She has been with us for almost a month now, I would say, and she is looking for her forever home.
Oh, well, she's certainly cute, and she comes with her own necklace. Which
Yeah, she's got her bling.
She's all blinged and ready to go.
Yeah.
She is.
So, Chris, talk a little bit about the A.D.O.P.T. First of all, what does A.D.O.P.T. stand for?
So A.D.O.P.T. stands for Animals Deserving of Proper Treatment. And that's a great question because people don't always know what it stands for, and that's our name shortened with A.D.O.P.T.
Yes, which also is what you do. I mean, you do
Yes,
that, right?
yes.
So talk a little bit about your programs. Give us an idea of what you've got going on there.
Yeah, so right now we're really excited. We have a lot going on at the shelter. We opened our vaccine clinic about a year and a half ago, so that's doing very, very well. We offer low-cost vaccines on Mondays by appointment, and then we do spay-neuter surgeries the rest of the week. Okay. So it's really been booming. There's a huge demand for those types of services right now.
Yes.
We currently have a veterinarian on staff, and we are looking for some more staff. So if any veterinarians or CVTs are out there looking for work, please give us a call. But yeah, it's
I would imagine you'd see a lot of that, particularly with the growing inflation rate. You'd see a lot on, because that's such a great service that you're providing.
Yeah, and it's costly for a lot of people, and you know, our goal is to be able to provide those services at a reasonable cost so that they can get the wellness care that they need.
Yeah,
So-
and also stay adopted, right? As opposed to finding their way back to you.
Yep,
So-
yep, absolutely. And we recently, back in October, so it's coming up on a year now, we opened our training center. So Adopt Training for a Sound Beginning, which is really exciting. We offer training classes, anything from puppy classes, basic obedience. We do therapy dog, rally. And then we also have some specialized classes for those dogs that need a little bit extra. So we have our building blocks and our Feisty Fido classes.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
And really a lot of that training, I mean, we say it's for the animals, but it's really the owners, right?
Yeah, yep. No, it's great. It's a great, you know, we recommend training for all of our adopted dogs, regardless of their age, because it's a really good bonding experience, and everything we do is through positive training. So it helps build that bond, and it's really great for new adopters to build that bond with their new pet.
Okay. Yeah. And can people sign up for that on your website, Chris?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You can find all the information you need for both our clinic and our training center on our website.
Okay. Now remind everybody where you're located.
We're located in Naperville on Industrial Drive. So we're 420 Industrial Drive.
Okay.
And
wonderful.
our shelter is there, and then our clinic and our training center we're all in this little circle complex. So it's really nice.
Nice. It's like a little Adopt campus.
It is. Yes.
Full stop shop.
Yes.
Alexis, talk a little bit about kind of what the whole adoption process looks like. How does that work from start to finish?
Yeah, so visitors would fill out an application for adoption for either dogs or cats. A counselor will review the application with them and will lead them to an animal that would be a good fit for their family and meet the needs that they have, as well as the animals. Then we, have the whole family meet, and if it's a good match, they can place a hold and pick up the animal within 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, so that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of the adoption, cats versus dogs, talk a little bit about kittens, older animals. What does that look like?
Yeah, so kittens and puppies, they tend to get adopted really quickly, but the adults, and particularly the seniors like Minnie here, they take a little bit longer to get adopted, but they are just as deserving of a loving permanent home.
Okay. And how can people help you? Because obviously it's a lot. You're doing a lot on the campus, but how can people come alongside you and help?
They can come volunteer at the shelter. We hold 2 orientations per month, so they just have to fill out a survey online on our website. And also fosters. We need fosters for both dogs and for cats. So they can also fill out that volunteer application for fostering.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old do you have to be to come to the shelter and help?
To volunteer, it's 18.
18, okay. Mm-hmm. And can you do it if you come with an adult? I mean, is there opportunities for younger people to do it, or you have to be 18, period?
We have parent-child opportunities where a parent can volunteer alongside their child. So that's for kids 11 to 17 with a parent.
Okay, nice way to kind of just get acclimated and see, do they really love the dog, or maybe not? Maybe that's not their calling. Okay. Chris, as you sort of think a little bit about this when you talk about the foster stuff, give us, if how does that work? I mean, we know how it works for children.
Sure.
How does it work for animals? Is it basically the same process?
Yeah, so it's kind of like an adoption, but you don't own the animal. So there is an application process, like Alexa said. And then we place the appropriate dog or cat into the home. We cover all of the expenses, so food, supplies, anything that they may need to welcome their new foster animal into the home. And then we do ask that they bring them in for adoption hours on occasion, just kind of depending, because there are all different ways to foster. Oftentimes we're looking for fosters who can help with like a mama cat and neonates, or kittens that aren't big enough to come into the shelter, puppies that aren't big enough to come into the shelter. We also have our Blessed Bonds program, which is a crisis assistance program. And through that program, we take in owned animals where the owner is unable to care for them for a temporary amount of time due to some sort of a crisis, be it medical or homelessness or domestic violence. So we're always looking for people to help us with those animals.
Okay.
And that's a great opportunity for people who are afraid that they're going to become a foster fail, because these animals are owned and they're just looking for a place to stay until their owner can get back up on their feet.
Okay, well that's good. That's good to know. Yeah. I mean, you're offering a lot of services there for the animals. Do you have any events coming up?
We do. We have a lot going on.
Okay.
Something for everybody. So we have our Labor Day raffle, which is going on now. A lot of really great prizes. You can see them all on our website, and ticket sales through our website. We have, if you like flowers and outdoorsy stuff, we have a mum sale going on currently. So you can purchase mums and the proceeds will go to the shelter. We also have a theatrical event where the Theater for Charity is doing Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, right? And all of the proceeds from that event do come back to the shelter to benefit the animals there. So that's a great event. And then lastly, we have our Growlers for Howlers coming up. And that's a great event too. So it's held at a local brewery. We'll have live music, raffles, we'll have adoptable animals there. So there's something for everybody.
Yeah, you've got a lot of fun fall.
Yeah.
You have a lot of things happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we sign off here, let's do a little pitch for Millie. Let's get her adopted.
All right, Miss Minnie, she doesn't look like she wants to sit on my lap, but she does love to sit on your lap and get cuddles. She's 10 years old and she is looking for a nice quiet home to spend the rest of her life. So, if you're interested in Minnie, please apply to adopt her.
She's lovely. We really love her. Yes. Well, thank you both so much for coming by. Thank you for bringing Minnie by. We appreciate it, and we wish you all the best for the fall events.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And to find out more about Adopt, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We're coming right back.
This is the Run My Own Business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned.
Hey everybody, Stephen Holt here from NBC5. What is a better way to start the morning than a fresh, hot cup of coffee? Well, NCTV 17's The Morning Show. We've got sizzling interviews. Also, we have a live band and breakfast is included. It's the hottest ticket in town. I'll see you there.
Welcome back to Spotlight. And joining me now from Indian Prairie Educational Foundation are Trudy Ranson and Tammy Reed. Welcome both of you to the show. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you so much for having us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Trudy, we're going to just start right out with you. Give me the pitch on Indian Prairie Education Foundation. What do you do and how do you support the students in District 204?
The Indian Prairie Educational Foundation, better known as IPEF, has been around since 1988. We were originally founded as a fine arts supporting foundation. And although we have remained true to those roots, we have tried to keep up with the needs of District 204 over the last 36 years. And we have included some incredible programs like our Teacher Grants program, our cardiac screening program, which we'll be talking about later, a lot of STEM, engineering, robotics, esports. And then we got into a little more social services right around the time of COVID. And now we help out with a lot more mental health supports for our students. And also we do a lot of what we call kid essentials. Students who are low income and might need a little help here and there. Their families might need a little help here and there. So they don't have to worry about anything besides getting a great education.
Love that, love that. And I think that kind of fits into, Tammy, what we were going to talk about with you, which is this whole idea of constantly changing needs. And that's reflecting the changing demographics, the changing needs of the student population in District 204. So talk a little bit about some of those and some of the challenges that you're now addressing.
Thank you. One of the, I think there's a great misconception that 204 is an extremely affluent district. And while there are many families who are extremely blessed, District 204 also has 22% of our student body is low income. Last year, in addition, in the district, we had over 200 students who were homeless. When you factor those, certainly that's not something we advertise out of respect for the families. However, there's some definite needs that those families and those students need. And so the foundation has this great mandate to help students with all of their educational needs. And certainly if the child doesn't have school supplies or food or things like that, clothing, we're so grateful for the opportunity that we have to partner with the district in helping to facilitate some of those resources getting to the students. Another hugely developing part of our, Trudy had mentioned the mental health services. And especially since the pandemic, since 2020, the needs for mental health services have just skyrocketed. Last year, we were able to help 300 students in the district receive some sort of mental health services, but clearly that was just, breaking the ice. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And we would love to be able to expand those services to include services for more students.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, right? Because I think we talk about the needs have grown, right? But I think people are also comfortable asking for the help, which I think pre-pandemic, that was one of the benefits coming out of COVID is I think people were more comfortable discussing, I need some help. I need some mental health support, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other program that Trudy mentioned, Tammy, just to give us a little bit more background, because I know it's been kind of a really more key piece to your whole programmatic arena, is the cardiac screening. So give us a little bit of background on that and what you're doing with that today.
Absolutely. So beginning in 2009, the district has partnered with an organization called Young Hearts for Life, and we provide free cardiac screening, so free EKGs for any high school student in the district. It's offered free of charge every other year. And I will tell you, this is my why for being involved with the foundation. I began volunteering at 2009. My oldest was a freshman at Neuqua Valley, and I just started volunteering as part of this great program. I thought, oh, okay, sure, I'll spend the day. What I hadn't planned on was when I continued this, that in 2015, while I was in Neuqua Valley helping with the girls in one gym, that my own son was being targeted or was being diagnosed as somebody who needed follow-up. And when I realized it really hit home, it became very, very personal.
Yes.
We were very blessed at our house that Eric was actually one of the small minority that's a false positive. And so he didn't end up needing any intervention going forward. However, his best friend was not so fortunate. And who would have thought? These boys were both athletes. We had every single physical. We've always been blessed with great health insurance. My kids have been to the doctor, but we had no idea that there might be an underlying cardiac issue. And had this program not been in effect, we would have never sought further additional treatment. This is a Young Hearts for Life screening year. And every time we do this event, we know we save lives. Yeah. And I just think it's a fantastic program.
Well, and I think it just also really elevates that understanding. We sort of think about hearts as old people issues, right? We don't think about it for young people. And in many cases, that's why we unfortunately see bad things happen to young people because they're not being screened. They're not being tested because everybody assumes they're healthy, right?
And unfortunately, this year, this past spring, we saw 3 high school students in the western suburbs who had sudden cardiac issues. They did not all survive. Yeah. And we want to make sure that that kind of tragedy never happens in 204 if we can prevent it. And the last time that we did this 2 years ago, 32 students were flagged for difficulties ranging anywhere from they had a small heart murmur to they needed to schedule some surgery. So we never know what's going to happen. But I think the best part of this program is that we bring it into the schools. It doesn't matter if a student has insurance. It doesn't matter if a student can't get to a doctor. We bring it to them, and all they need is a parent's permission to participate.
Yeah, I think it's a terrific program, and kudos to you for continuing on with it, because I know it also takes a lot of resources, right? Both paid and volunteer resources to make that happen. So
hundreds of volunteers.
Yes,
which is going to be a unique challenge, because this year Neuqua Valley is doing it early September. So the galvanization of those resources is going to be quite epic.
I have every confidence that you'll get it done. You'll get it done. Trudy, one of the other things, and I think it speaks to this whole idea of volunteerism, right, is the Team IPEF.
Team IPEF is actually one of our biggest fundraisers of the year, and it involves the entire IPSD 204 community. We run as a charity team with the Endeavor Health Naperville half K, 5K, or half marathon, 5K, 10K. And every year we have a team at each and every school and each and every building. So that's 34 teams that run under our umbrella. And it is students, parents, teachers, alumni, just community members who don't even have anybody in the school district anymore. And they come together and they wear our incredibly bright yellow shirts, and they run for the school of their choice. Now, the thing that makes this such a winning fundraiser is that half of the money that each runner raises goes directly back to the school of their choice. And then the other half goes to support foundation programs. So every school, I get the pleasure of going to every school with my giant oversized check to give them a check in the amount of half of however much their runners raised. And then those schools get to spend it on whatever they need. There are no strings attached. The principal and the runners, and however they decide that they want to spend that money wherever they need it, that's where it goes.
Well, we will look to see you out there on October 20th. And Tammy, thank you so much for sharing the information, and we wish you all the best for the upcoming school year.
Thank you so much for having us today.
Absolutely. And for more information about Indian Prairie Educational Foundation, please go and visit their website. I'd like to thank all of my guests for joining us on Spotlight, and our friends at Busey Bank for their generous sponsorship of today's show. To learn more about the organizations featured on this episode, please visit our website at nctv17.org. And to stay informed about what's happening in our community, sign up to receive our daily news update and like and follow us on social media. For Spotlight, I'm Jane Wernette. Thank you for watching.
This Spotlight is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Busey Bank.